The Nintendo Wii was revolutionary when it came to motion gameplay in 2008. What better way to showcase the new Wii remote than placing it inside a plastic Wii wheel and playing some Mario Kart? Mario Kart Wii introduced motorbikes that you can ride, as well as some really iconic characters and tracks that will forever be memorable. Let's take a look at all the different tracks in part 6 of our Mario Kart retrospective. We've partnered up with Happy Kids for this series, so download the app and watch for free. Welcome back, everyone. It's Abdallah here with even more Mario Kart retrospective. Welcome to episode 6, where we're going to talk about none other than Mario Kart Wii. This game was so good back in the day, and a lot of people still actually play this game. Seriously, the community for Mario Kart Wii is huge, and I'm so glad to show it to you. Honestly, playing through with the Wii remote and nunchuck in order to do some motion graphic little tricks along the way, riding motorcycles, doing wheelies, tricks around corners, tricks against the walls. Oh man, and don't even forget to mention the new characters on board in the form of, Dry Bowser? We also got Funky Kong? Man, this game was so cool. Anyway, so welcome to the retrospective. We're going to be going through one lap in each of the levels within the game, and if you haven't already seen the other episodes, make sure you guys do so. We're going through the entire series of every single Mario Kart game and really exploring them. Our next episode is going to be Mario Kart 7, so you don't want to miss that one. Anyway, if you guys are ready for it, let's rev up our engines, let's go explore the different bikes available, and see one lap in every single one of the tracks. And here we are at Mario Kart Wii's gigantic roster. Just like we've seen in Mario Kart Double Dash, this roster is actually really cool, with some new characters that we haven't seen before. So taking a look at it, we've got the baby characters such as Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy. You've got the smaller characters such as Dry Bones over here, Koopa Troopa, Toadette, and Toad. You've got your middleweights such as Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Daisy. This time around, we have Bowser Jr. as a playable character. We've seen him in Double Dash, of course. We've got Diddy Kong on board, Birdo, Yoshi, Wario, Waluigi, DK, Bowser, Dry Bowser, brand new character. We've never seen him before in any other Mario Kart game. Funky Kong, of course. Rosalina is back, and of course we've got King Boo. We've seen them. And of course, since it is playing on the Nintendo Wii, the big gimmick about the Nintendo Wii was using your Mii characters. Could you imagine that? Yes, using your Mii characters in order to play in a Mario Kart game. Of course, we're going to see that done in future iterations of Mario Kart. So anyway, you can be whoever you want. Of course, for demonstration purposes, we're going to use Mario. And the cool thing about this game is the introduction of bikes. You guys can see over here that it's not just Mario Kart, it is Mario Bike as well. You've got the standard karts over here, classic dragster. You've got a Wild Wing, you've got Super Blooper, Day Tripper, and the Sprinter. These karts and bikes are based off of the weight class, so depending on how heavy your character is, you'll only be able to use a certain amount of bikes and karts. For Mario, for example, right over here we have the standard bike. We've got the Mach Bike, the Sugar Scoot, Zip Zip, Sneakster, and the Dolphin Dasher. They all have their stats explicitly stated over here, and of course they do have some hidden stats along with it. So for demonstration, we're going to jump onto the Mach Bike with Mario this way. Now, there is also a brand new mechanic to make the game even more easier and accessible for all sorts of players. Of course, you had mom and dad playing Wii Bowling, so you need to make sure that they know how to play Mario Kart. So there was an automatic drift option over here. There's no mini turbos, but it'll allow you to shave off some seconds whenever you're turning around the corner. You don't lose any speed at all. But of course, for the hardcore players, you also did have the mini turbos like we've seen in every other Mario Kart. So anyway, doing that, you can see right over here, we do have 4 different cups that allow us to use all sorts of different unique courses: Mushroom, Flower, Star Cup, and the Special Cup. Now, the other 4 cups are going to be retro ones, as we've seen before: Shell Cup, Banana Cup, the Leaf Cup, and the Lightning Cup. All these are super fun. I can't wait to show you all the retro ones. If you guys have been watching the series up until now, you'll recognize every single one of these levels. So without further ado, let's jump into the Mushroom Cup and showcase what's going on. And here we are at Luigi's Circuit. Excellent. Now this level is going to be pretty awesome because there's going to be tons of straightaways. And the cool thing about using the bikes in the game is that you can shake up on the Nintendo Wii remote and you could do a wheelie on a straightaway over this way. So if you don't touch the controller, you'll actually get higher than your max speed without wheeling just by doing that. So it's a great way of getting a lot more speed and chaining these mini turbos into wheelies whenever you can in order to beat the competition. And here we are on Moo Moo Meadows within Mario Kart Wii. This level is fun because it kind of brings back the N64 feel of Moo Moo Farm. But you can see, of course, that there are indeed going to be all sorts of different cows on the track over here, so watch out as you're wheeling your way through here. Yeah, we want to be able to easily mini turbo. There's going to be some trick mechanisms right over in this game, so if you ever go onto a ramp, you can shake the Wii remote in order to get even more of a boost when you land. Something like that. Yahoo! Excellent. That was actually a really good jump. Awesome work. Way to go, Mario. Yeah. Here is a fan favorite level in Mushroom Gorge. Ooh, man. The reason why people love this level is because there is a really fun shortcut towards the very end that, if you're good, you can actually pull it off. Me, probably out of practice, so I don't think I'll be able to do it. But nonetheless, I'll show you exactly where it is so that you guys can really understand what's going on. So you can see over here that what you can do is easily go through and wheelie and then shake off of all these different mushrooms on board. Anyway, you can pick and choose left or right over here. Honestly, none of them matter. I believe this is maybe the fastest one because you can like wheelie off of this. There we go. And so the Mushroom Gorge is right over here. This is the jump where you would go all the way over to the left-hand side and jump the entire gap. And you can see that there's going to be Goombas along the way too, so watch out for those. Here we are at Toad's factory. No idea what he's building or making in this gigantic factory, but we're here and we're going to be racing inside it. So as you can see, we are going to be watching all sorts of different pounding mechanisms, some sort of conveyor belts that'll boost us forward if we're aligned properly, and some swinging platforms right over here too. So you want to watch out for the boxes that are on those because the boxes don't actually break. They will stop you. They'll bring you to a screeching halt. Right over here is a couple different walkways and conveyor belts, so make sure that you're going on the green one accordingly. And then what do we have over here? Launching ourselves straight out of the factory. What we'll do over here is do a little bit of a mini turbo. We're going to sneak onto this little platform here, try to get some more. Oh, we missed the second boost, but that's okay. Here we go. Awesome flip towards the very end. And here we are at the Flower Cup. This is home to, of course, some very, very famous tracks, including Coconut Mall. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show it to you, so let's dive in. Here we are, Mario Circuit. Of course there's a Mario Circuit in Mario Kart. There has to be. Anyway, taking a look over here, you're going to be able to see all sorts of cool buildings. Goombas are on the track. If you do have any kind of weapons to throw at the Goomba, such as like green shells or red shells, you can indeed take them out. Right over there is going to be a shortcut that you could potentially use right over to clip out right before the chain jump. And then this is the last winding turn, so pretty easy of a level, nothing too crazy. But I do love the fact that there are awesome little trees, and you can see Princess Peach's castle just straight on ahead. It's a very awesome rendition. We made it to Coconut Mall. Let's do it. Where are you going to go shopping first? I don't know. Wherever. Take me to the food court. I'm kind of hungry. Anyway, you'll see over here that there are going to be a bunch of different Mii characters showcasing themselves on billboards and bouncing around in the level. Oh my gosh, this level is so cool. And I can see why a lot of people love it still to this day. Anyway, we're going to be doing some work right over this way. Be careful as we're going right down the stairs this way into a very easy boost zipper right there. Let's do a little mini turbo. We got this. We got this. Anyway, this is a food court over here. You can pick and choose which way to go. Going the top route is actually a little bit more interesting, so let's show you exactly what that looks like. Doing some double backflips, yes. Now this part is the hardest part of the entire level because your Mii characters are in convertibles and they are trying to back up into you, so watch out for them. Here we go, we made it to the DK Summit. This is an entire mountain that we are going to be driving up. And just like a snowboarder or a skier, we're going to be going straight back down it. And it's going to feel so fun. Anyway, this is a really cool level, and it introduces these side ramps over here. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Yeah, we're going to be hugging the side ramp right in the air like a half pipe. Like it's the X Games over here. Watch out for the snow. You can indeed hop through it if you want to. That was actually a pretty bad hop, but no worries. Here's some little bunny hills that you want to watch out for too. You can do some crazy fun tricks off every single one of these. This is like a little figure 8 circuit right over here. You can easily do some really fun looking tricks around the corner there. Of course, now this is going to be the super fun part where you can easily do all of these very cool tricks along the edge, just grinding a rail and then tricking way around the corner just like that. Ooh, watch out for the Shy Guys though. Here we are at Wario's Gold Mine. It's actually a really good level. I like the design of it. I like the lore, right? Because if you peer over the edge, you can see that there's some like little bungalows and little huts over here. And maybe Wario's actually providing for the community. I don't even know. But some of these buildings have his W emblem on it. So yeah, keep that in mind. Anyway, watch out for the swoopers as they come straight through this area over here. If you knock into them, they can slow you down, but they won't actually provide any kind of like spin outs or anything like that. Anyway, right over this way is going to be the section where you can indeed get hit by these mine carts. So if you're fast enough, you can cut them off and take one of 2 different paths. I like taking this path over here. It's a little bit faster. There we go. It's got some zippers on board and a way to launch yourself right through there and to the finish line. Excellent job. And here we are at the Star Cup, home of some really, really fun tracks, including Daisy Circuit, Koopa Cape, and Maple Treeway. Don't forget about Grumble Volcano. That level is pretty infamous, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Here we are at Daisy Circuit. Daisy gets another track named after her. Remember on GameCube, we had the little yacht that she was on, Daisy Cruiser. That was so fun. Anyway, as you can see right over this way, it is literally a map inside of a town. There's going to be a couple different pathways over here, as you can see. You can choose to snake wherever you want and make your way all the way to this little tunnel right over this way. Watch out over here. If you do hit the cones, they will slightly slow you down, but don't worry too much about them. Here's some really fun straightaways, and of course a U-turn that you can take. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Easy U-turn. Done, done, done. You can take this little ramp over here in order to go a little bit tighter and save a little bit of time on your way down to finish it off. Here we are at Koopa Cape. Watch out, this level is pretty intense. There's a lot of Goombas on board. There's a lot of water that you can potentially get drafted away with. Just watch it. Anyway, Koopa's showing you the way to go right over here, so keep that in mind as you're moving through. You can easily mushroom through the grass right over there towards this little ramp. Absolutely, and you can take a really, really tight U-turn through that grass over there too in order to save a little bit more time. Right over here in this way, you're going to see that whenever you're on the water, you're going to be going a lot faster than if you weren't. It's really going with the current to keep you at speed. Anyway, right over down this way, we're going to jump all the way underwater in some sort of crazy looking tube. If you pay attention to the waterways, you can see some eels underneath the water over here. Oh my gosh, that eel is gigantic. Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks from Super Mario 64 on that one. There's a lot of them. Oh my gosh. Anyway, you can take a really, really tight turn all the way through the right waterfall if you have a mushroom, but other than that, you're good to go. Let's jump into Maple Treeway, shall we? Ooh, yeah. There's a shortcut right off the bat to the right side over this way if you use a mushroom through the grass in that section there. So keep an eye out for it as you do. Right over here, you'll notice that there's going to be a huge cannon that will launch you at the middle part of the tree. And the cool thing about this, if you're playing in the GP mode against the computers, if you hit one of these leaf piles, there's a chance that there can be a star or a mushroom inside it. And also there could be a shell, so just be very careful as you're playing through. Watch out for the gigantic wigglers. They've got some zippers right over this way that you can continuously boost through. And speaking of boosting through, check this out. Whoa! Yeah, man. So fun. Anyway, the leaf piles are back, so count your blessings and hope that you get a star right over that way. What we're going to do is really just jump all the way down this tree over here. As you can see, this little area houses some really fun trick opportunities. You can trick off of all of these here and continuously make your way all the way through to the very end. Awesome job. Here we are at Grumble Volcano. This level is definitely infamous in Mario Kart Wii. Not only because it is very difficult, especially towards the later laps where the entire area crumbles and the entire map is just half of what it used to be, But the fact that there are some pretty interesting Lakitu respawn glitches that you can jump into the lava and he'll put you way ahead of where you jumped from. There's also some really crazy ultra shortcuts that you can do with just riding around on some rocks. Anyway, I won't be showing that off because we really just want to showcase what is going on with this. But you can see that the entire volcano is erupting right now, and that's really going to change the landscape on laps 2 and 3. And it will actually reveal some different shortcuts along the way too. Clutch shortcuts that can help you win the very, very final stretch of land. Anyway, that's Grumble Volcano for you. And here we are at the Special Cup. These are the last 4 unique courses in Mario Kart Wii. We've got some very fun ones in the form of Bowser's Castle and, of course, Rainbow Road. I am so excited to show you this iteration of that one. All right, here we are at Dry Ruins. Let's do it. Let's see what's going on, and I'll show you all of the different sights to be seen, including the very awesome Yoshi Sphinx that makes an appearance again. Look at that. How many of them did they build inside the entire Mario world, or Mario universe over here? Anyway, right over here, you'll see that the landscape does indeed change with these little walls that are falling down over that way, and we're actually gonna go inside one of these pyramids. How cool is that? So you can come over here, do a little bit of a trick. Watch out for the sand over that way, because the sand will indeed slow you down. Watch out, do an easy loop right over here. Watch out for that, of course. Now there's swoopers, and there's all sorts of different things that you can watch out for. Anyway, as you can see, there's going to be a mushroom shortcut directly straight through there if you want to boost through it. If you don't, no worries. You can take this lap right over here and finish it off. Here we go, Moonview Highway. We're going to be sharing the road this time around with a bunch of drivers on both sides of the track. So, just like we've seen in Toad's Turnpike, you have to be very, very careful on where and how you're driving. Of course, you do not want to get smushed, so keep that in mind. Watch the blind corners over here. Stay on your side of the road, man. Don't do it. Anyway, of course, this is very, very congested. It must be rush hour over here. The cool thing about this is there's going to be some different boost panels on the floor. So if you know exactly where to go for all these boost panels, you'll have an easier time running through this level. Anyway, I'm going to go on my side of the road this way. It's a little bit wider, so it's safer. Anyway, Moonview Highway, looking at that. You got to pay the toll right over this way. Watch out, because we are done. Here we go, Bowser's Castle. It's time for another glow up. Thank goodness that there's not 7 Bowser Castles like in Super Circuit, but I'm excited for it. Anyway, I'll show you guys what's going on over here. It's going to be your very stereotypical Bowser Castle. It's got a lot of thwomps and a lot of traps, so make sure you're paying attention to everything right down this way. Here are the thwomps. If you run into them, nothing really happens. Just don't run underneath them and get smushed. That's the worst part. This part's actually pretty fun because we've got a little trick section where we can indeed trick right across this way in order to dodge any of those fireballs that Bowser's throwing at us this way. Watch out for the fire bars as usual, and we are going to make our way straight through this part. Anyway, there's a lot of lava that's going to be shooting up out of the ground, so take it a little bit wider. And speaking of taking it wider, watch out for these thwomps, as they are going to be triples right over here. Woo! Gigantic triple fire bar. Oh my gosh. And this is going to be the last turn. Oh man, it's showtime. Right over here, you'll see these things just erupt right out of the ground. And of course, you can trick off of them if you're careful enough. Watch out. Here we go! It's Rainbow Road in Mario Kart Wii! Oh, I love this level. It is actually a very advanced track compared to the other Rainbow Roads that we've seen in this retrospective. Now, we'll be able to see that there's going to be a lot of boost panels, so just be shaking the entire Wii remote the entire time as you're going through this level. Right over here is a cool little ramp spot that you can do. Right over this way is going to be pretty intense if you can get some extra tricks along the way. So fun. If you follow this little rainbow right over this way, you'll be able to be primed and set up for even more fun tricks along the sidewalls. Alright, so speaking of sidewalls, they're going to get rid of those soon. Right over here, you can see, oh, the sidewalls are gonzo, man. Anyway, obligatory cannon launching us straight over this way, and we've got another very fun jump that I'll show you right over here, which is one of my favorites. It's like a side corkscrew. So fun. Alright, last but not least, what we have over here is going to be, ooh, one of the final jumps. Here we go. Oh my gosh, can we make it? Can we make it? Oh, yes, we can. Nope, I'm not going to go for that. No, we're good. And that is Mario Kart Wii's Rainbow Road. Let's do it again. So all the unique cups are out of the way. Let's actually revisit some of the older cups right over here. We've got the Shell Cup, Banana Cup, Leaf Cup, and the Lightning Cup, which are remakes of a lot of different levels from the previous Mario Kart game. So like I said earlier, if you didn't watch the previous episodes of the retrospective, pause this right now, go check them out, and then come right back over here, because it's really fun to see just how advanced these levels get in this version of the game. Here we go. It's Peach Beach, yes, straight from Isle Delfino. You can see the Noki and the Pianta right over that way. Man, that's so fun. This level is really fun in Double Dash, and as you can see over here, there are going to be multiple pathways. This brings on all the different cataquacks, so just watch out for them as you're driving along through here. Of course, the water is going to slow you down, so be very mindful of that. And watch out, because if any of these cataquacks come and get you, you're going to get launched all the way into the air. You do not want that to happen. Anyway, here's the final stretch of land, and if you do have a bike, just hit that wheelie, man. Hit that big wheelie. Nice. Here we are at Yoshi Falls from the Nintendo DS version. This one's actually pretty fun. It's relatively short, but there are some interesting shortcuts that you can take if you're feeling risky with the waterfalls. Just be very careful, as those waterfalls will take you completely down if you're not careful. Anyway, right over here is the first instance of doing that. You can take that lower path towards the, wow, ooh, look at that. Towards the right that way. But no, we got some really good times over here. Take a look at that. Boom, and wheelie to finish it off. You ready for some spooky time? Yes, it is Ghost Valley 2. This level is super fun, of course. There's a really cool shortcut that you can do, like we've seen before in the Super Nintendo version. What's cool about this is that sometimes the railings do actually give out. This is the shortcut that I'm talking about over here that you can do just without any kind of mushroom, so very glad that we were able to do that so easily. And of course, watch out, because if you don't take these turns tight, you might end up losing. Woo, man, so good. Here we go, classic level, Mario Circuit from the N64 version. Man, I've got good memories of this level, especially because it was one of the first levels where I remember seeing some piranha plants in all the way in the N64 version. The Wii version definitely has a glow up for those piranha plants, so definitely take a look at them. And they're huge too, they're way bigger than Mario. If Mario to stand up right next to them, yeah, right. Anyway, there's a shortcut right over there in case you wanted to use a mushroom. Likewise, right over this way, there's going to be a sand cut that you can easily go through. Yeah, we're going to take it nice and tight, nice and slow right over this way too. Gigantic tunnel that we're going to be going through. And if you have a mushroom on this last section this way, you can easily blast through the grass on the right-hand side. All right, everyone's cheering for you. Yeah, good work. Here we are at the Banana Cup now, even more retro levels, including a fan favorite in the form of Waluigi Stadium. Oh man, people love that level. Anyway, let's jump into it. We're here at N64's Sherbet Land. Oh man, talk about a glow up. Look at these awesome graphics and these cute little baby penguins. Yes. Now, you'll see over here that this level is indeed pretty long, I would say so, and there's a lot of straightaways, so if you are a bike player right over here, you're going to definitely have an advantage over others, because you can do these awesome wheelies just straight through, like 3 wheelies in a row almost. Anyway, watch out for these twin baby penguins over here, and we're going to be entering the cave like we did way back in the N64 times. You'll see that there are going to be some zippers right over this way. Yeah, make your way through as best you can. You can probably cut a little bit tighter. Yeah, just like that. Excellent. Oh, we're going. We are 100% in this. Gigantic baby penguin over there. Here we are. Let's go. Big straightaway. Watch out, baby. Don't hit me. Ooh, ooh. Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. Don't get hit right there. Don't fall off, man. Excellent. Get the sunscreen. We're here at Shy Guy Beach. The interesting thing about this remake is that that cannon actually throws cannonballs, and those cannonballs will absolutely explode on you if you're not paying attention. Watch out for these sidesteppers over here. They're absolutely going to be in your way. There is an explosion on the left-hand side, so be very careful as you're playing through this level over here. Obviously, depending on your cart, you're going to be slowed down by the water. So, yeah, try to hop and not get hit by any of those water things. Look at how slow that makes me. Wow. Okay, anyway, moving on. We're going to be jumping right over this way. We got a couple different options on which way to go. Of course, I'm going to take this way, right over here, straight to the very end, just like that. Here we are, back in Delfino Square. Ooh, I love the city levels. It's just so fun. It's not abstract. It shows a whole bunch of really, really fun designs and little details. Absolutely love it. So you can see the Piantas all over the place over here. And watch out for these different right-angled turns. Reminds me of like Bowser's Castle. Anyway, we're going to hold on to this right over this way. You can pick and choose which way you want to go. Of course, it doesn't really matter to you, as long as you make it all the way through. Right over here. Nice. Excellent. We're going to be crossing the bridge over this way. Hey, hey, we're going to go right into town. It looks just like Super Mario Sunshine. So good. Anyway, right over here is going to be a couple boxes. Watch out for those, and a gigantic drawbridge. Sometimes the bridge is up, and sometimes the bridge is down. Woo! Look at that. Huge tricks along the way. What we want to do right now is essentially make our way around the corner over here, and we are all set and seeing them cheer for us as we cross the finish line. We've made it to Waluigi Stadium. Yeah. Alright, especially with the physics in this game regarding ramps and everything, I'm so into it. Alright, let's take a look over here. Let's see what we can do about getting these really high jumps. Oh, we can go straight up here if we wanted to. Yeah, a little bit slower, but still very fun. Anyway. Yeah, okay, I'm into this. Huge jumps right over this way. Yep, here we go. Watch out for that little mud on the left-hand side. And this part right over here is actually really fun. If you want to go straight, you can absolutely do so. I would honestly say watch out for the fire bars. You could do all the side tricks and everything like that, but of course it is going to be way slower than just kind of maneuvering your way in the middle over there. So anyway, do some wheelies right over this way. You can do some tricks. This part is going to be relatively hard, especially if you have a bike that doesn't turn as well as this one. Anyway, this one's going to be at the final jump of the level, straight on through, and that is Waluigi Stadium. And here we are at the Leaf Cup. We made it to levels like Desert Hills, Bowser Castle 3, DK Jungle Parkway, and, of course, another Mario Circuit. And here we are, another desert level within the game. Not too bad, as this one was one of my favorites in the DS version. Desert Hills, here we go. The angry sun is, of course, over there, and, yeah, he is definitely still angry. Alright. As you can see over here, the track is super similar to what it was in the DS version. I remember the pokies, I remember that cool looking pyramid, big jumps right over this way, so be careful for all of these little pokey here. Anyway, if you have some mushrooms, you can easily blast through these S-curves and take a straight beeline towards the middle of them, and get some really crazy airtime too while you're at it. But of course, we're fine without doing that. And that is going to be it. Super fun. Watch out for those fireballs on lap 2 now. Here we are at GBA Bowser Castle 3. Ooh, man. This one is a fun one. It's got a lot of straightaways and right-angle turns, as we know so well. Man, I still remember playing the GBA Super Circuit and seeing that there was like 7 different Bowser castles, man. How do you even remember which one's which, right? Anyway, you'll see over here that it's got tons of the different thwomps over this way. Lots of opportunities to pretty much hop over here. Oh, I do remember that there used to be an item block right over there too. Anyway, this one's going to be a slowed down mud pit. Don't go into that. We've got some opportunity to jump over a thwomp. How cool was that? Yeah, watch out for the fireballs. You can do an easy wheelie straight in the middle over this way. Oh yeah, I do remember this little diagonal here. And a nice little U-turn. Easy mode. Watch out, as there are indeed going to be even more thwomps right over here. But if you're using the bike, you can easily wheelie straight down the middle. DK's Jungle Parkway. Yeah, I remember that gigantic boat. I remember all of the coconuts in case you're on top of the grass over there. You can see all your different Mii characters and Shy Guys. Oh, that's so fun. Anyway, right over here is the exact same thing as it used to be, a giant build-up to a huge ramp that will continuously launch you to the other side. Unfortunately, you can't cut off any of the section by turning all the way to the left over there like you could in the N64 version. But nonetheless, we are here. As you can see, it's the same winding turns all over through the jungle. Of course, you get a little peek of the waterfall that we're going to be coming onto very, very shortly. Ooh, yeah, I don't see any little coconuts that are going to be flying at us, so thank goodness. That was really hard. Anyway, speaking of difficult, wow, look at this awesome bridge over here. Great opportunity to throw some bananas or some green shells backwards. And of course, we made it to the cave. You can easily mushroom cut your way up on top of there in order to finish off the level. And here we are at another iteration of Mario Circuit within the game. This one's really fun. I do remember this one from GameCube's Double Dash, and it is so cool. Just seeing everything come to life, right? Everything is alive. The clouds have eyeballs. Man, everything's got eyeballs. Anyway, speaking of eyeballs, watch out for this chain chomp. If you're going way too close to the left edge over there, he will bite you, and you're gonna get bowled over and lose your items. Anyway, right over here, after this cave portion, there's going to be the addition of these little piranha plants. Better stay in the middle or else you're going to get chomped by them. We do not want that to happen. And the last enemy that we will see is none other than a Goomba over here. As you can see, you can easily jump over them or you can hit them with shells in order to gain all sorts of different items. Yeah, we made it. Here we go, the last cup of the game is none other than the Lightning Cup, which houses N64 Bowser's Castle. That is one of the better ones in the game. Anyway, we got Mario Circuit 3, Peach Gardens, and of course, DK Mountain. Let's take a look at them. Here we go. SNES Mario Circuit number 3, the one that was modeled after a real racetrack in Spain. How cool is that? Anyway, let's jump on into this. If you have a bike, you've got a lot of different wheelies that you can do and straightaways. Watch out for the oil slicks as usual. If you do have any mushrooms, a lot of this level can be cut off. So just take a look at literally any corner and then blast your way through it. This level is so fun too, especially if you're playing against all the computer opponents. My goodness. There's a huge mushroom cut right over that way that you can use. And this is going to be the final stretch with a zipper, baby. Yeah. We made it back to Peach Gardens, yes! Was it you that let the chain chomps out? Because last I saw, they were all hooked up to the stakes that were pounded into the ground. Anyway, as you can see over here, this level is very awesome with this glow up. Oh my gosh, I love it. There's going to be a lot of different shortcuts that you can take through the different flower paths, so keep that in mind as you're kind of racing through here. Here's one of them that you can kind of zip through on that way. We'll see over here that you can indeed make your way to snake through on all of these sections here. Watch out because those chain chomps are no joke and they will hit you and take away your items in the event that you choose to go that way. Anyway, right over here is going to be a pretty fun part. Yeah, what we want to do is move your way through. This is going to be the Monty Mole section. You can see over here that they added a couple different ramps and you can indeed trick off those things, right? Anyway. This one's going to be the final stretch. The gigantic doors of the Peach Castle. Oh my gosh, why are they so big? Here we are at DK Mountain. Yeah, we're going to be climbing up this entire mountain, getting blasted off, and then making our way down, avoiding all the boulders along the way. So, as you can see over here, this level requires a lot of accuracy, especially when it comes to the downwards portion. Anyway, there's going to be a gigantic volcano. We're going to make our way straight down into a mini turbo. Yeah, we're gonna be making our way straight through here, doing some big jumps. We're gonna be taking a page from the Double Dash handbook and just trying to keep our cart to the side over that way. There's going to be added little boulders here, some different little ramps in case you want to take them. I'm gonna opt to not take them right over here. Watch out for these little rocks. Oh my, yes. Oh, this shortcut actually still can be done if you slow down and kind of turn that way. You can get a really, really good time if you try it. Anyway, wavy bridge, watch out. Oh, do not fall off. Do a nice little wheelie. Perfect. Love that. And the last level in the game is none other than Bowser's Castle from N64. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so excited for this one. This level has been revered as one of the coolest tracks. I still remember in the N64 times. Anyway, the Womps have been replaced with Thwomps, and there's still the jailed one over there. That's kind of interesting. I wonder what happened over here. Did they just not model the Womps? You know, the big blue blocks? Anyway, we can see over here that it is pretty tight around every single one of these corners, so just watch yourself. These little side swiper guys are going to do some work to you. Huh! Not too bad, not too bad. Here's the little pictures in the stairway. Yeah, there we go. Little courtyard. Oh man, it's all coming back. Absolutely all coming back. Check this out. Wow, look at this bridge now. Bright. Talk about a glow up, man. Anyway, we're going to be cutting right through here. This is the final section of track. Watch out because there will be a couple jumps over here. Choose left or right. Honestly, doesn't matter. This jump is a little quick. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to mini turbo straight to the end because we are done with every level in Mario Kart Wii. And there you have it, Mario Kart Wii, one lap in every single one of these very memorable tracks. Which one of these tracks was your favorite? I can't wait to hear from you. Honestly, my favorite, I really do like Coconut Mall. I do. And the Bowser's Castle is just so fun. Grumble Volcano is so cool. Maple Treeway. A lot of them are really iconic, seriously. Anyway, I'm gonna go practice some more time trials over here because I have a hankering to jump in and try to do that Mushroom Gorge shortcut. Dude, I have to master it. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for watching the retrospective over here. Our next game is going to be none other than Mario Kart 7, one of my personal favorites, simply because I started my entire content creation career playing Mario Kart 7 way back in the days of 2012 and 2011. Man, that was a good time. Anyway, I hope you guys will look forward to that very soon. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next exciting episode of the Mario Kart Retrospective. Take care.
Only on Happy Kids Free, Fun, Learn.